Hello, everyone. Welcome to Nails and Beauty Talk. I am your host, Asia the Bird. So I have a very special guest with us today. She's a nail artist and educator. Please welcome Miranda Richardson. Hello, Miranda. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thank you so much.
You're most welcome. So I want to go ahead and ask this first question. Where are you from and how did you get started in the nail industry?
So I'm actually from St. Louis, Missouri, born and raised. I am now in Tucson, Arizona, and I've been here a little over 10 years, almost 11 years now. And I got started in the nail industry pretty young. I really was very interested in nails. I love nails, getting my nails done and things like that at a pretty young age. But really didn't foresee it as an opportunity for something that I could do as a career. And I think a lot of that was due to the fact that when I went to get my nails done, I didn't see people like me doing nails. So it was a little discouraging. It wasn't something like, oh, this is an opportunity. So I never really pursued it. So I did, I have a business degree with the emphasis in human resource management. I've done a lot of jobs, you know what I'm saying, that depended on my diploma in order for me to get hired, things like that. And they were great jobs, got paid well, but nothing that was fulfilling, nothing that I really enjoyed doing like that. It was just a job. And then when I moved here to Tucson, I met my husband, and he at the time was a barber, and he had been a barber, I think at that point, maybe like 5 or 6 years or so. And he really encouraged me. He was like, what do you want to do? What do you want to do? He kept asking me. And finally I said, you know what? I really want to do nails. He was like, well, do it. And of course made it seem so easy because right. Like, let me just go do nails real quick. I'm like, okay, I have a whole, first of all, I had 2 children at the time, you know what I'm saying? They were pretty relatively small. They're grown now. I have a 20-year-old and a 16-year-old. So, you know, at the time when they were smaller, it was not an ideal situation to just quit a 9-to-5 job, paying me really well with benefits and so on and so forth. So,
right.
But, you know, over time we talked about it. Him and I, you know what I'm saying, really got to the point where we felt like we were very serious. And he said, look, I got you, you know, I pretty much walked out on faith. So I ended up, don't recommend this to anyone, but I ended up, I was, you know what I'm saying, working somewhere where I had to get fired because I was like, I need to collect unemployment and I wanted to go to school. So did a little crazy stuff as far as showing up late, come back late from breaks, you know, all that little craziness. And then eventually I did, you know what I'm saying, get let go, and I was able to collect unemployment. And then I went to school to do nails. During that time, I just was really focused. I was like, look, if this is something I want to do, I really want to put my all into it. Unfortunately, the place that I went to wasn't somewhere that they really helped me out a lot. It was enough for me to get my hours, pass my state board,
right,
but not a whole lot of information about, you know, the nail careers and life and building and all the things that I wanted to know, art and all of that. I had to self-teach. I had to find out on my own. So I got to the point where I wanted to do that. And I literally did all my research and just looked into it. During that time, like we're talking about almost 10 years ago, it was not like there was social media was barely there. It was Facebook. I don't believe Instagram was around or anything like that. It was coming around. I think within like, I think it's been around maybe like 7 years or something like that. So it's coming around, but it wasn't a thing. So with that being said, and being that I wasn't from here, I had to do a lot of like networking and things like that, and trying to build a clientele, you know, working from home, just all those different types of avenues and things like that. But once I got into the career itself, I really did, and I have enjoyed it. It's been amazing. Even though I have, like I said, with the self-teaching, I feel like it's taught me a lot to be able to help other people not have to go through what I went through in order to build my career.
Yeah, I can relate to that to a degree because I was the same way because I got a cosmetology license. So I took cosmetology courses in high school. I'm 25 now. So the thing is, before I got into cosmetology school, like around the time I was 14, I wanted to do nails, like, because my dad asked me, like, what do you want to do with your life? And I said, I want to do nails. And he was like, this is something you want to do, be the best at it. And so I had to learn a lot of nail stuff on my own before I even got to cosmetology classes in my high school. So so I can relate to that because like you have to learn a lot on your own because they're not going to teach you a full depth of what you need to learn in beauty school.
No. And that was one of the reasons now with having my own academy, I wanted to completely change the perspective, the mentality, the understanding of trade school, because I don't really consider, even though I am, you know, legally considered a trade school, but as far as how I run it as a business school. I feel like you are here to gain the opportunity of having your own business. I teach them about, you know what I'm saying, how to run your own business. I have a tax preparer that actually comes, he's a registered CPA and accountant, talks to them about, you know, doing their taxes, how that looks, you know, when you start your own business, what you need to do, you know, getting your LLC, your tax identification number, just all the things that need to be preparing you for having something on your own and not having to just jump out here and be like, okay, so now I know how to do nails, or what do I do next? You know, type of, and excuse me, I think that's very important. So I really go into a lot of what's going to help them once they graduate, not just getting the hours, not just pushing them out the door. You know, we have a graduation, all these different things to help really make them feel like this is an achievement and it's a goal that they've set out to accomplish, and they're doing, you know, what they want to do.
Yeah, absolutely. But I want to ask you this other question, like, how important is it for Black nail artists to have like their own like nail schools to teach, you know, like the youth about nails and about the business side of it?
I think it's absolutely amazing. You know, like you just mentioned, especially one being an African-American female, you know what I'm saying? That's not common for us in general. Like it's now more, you see it more now where we see African-American nail artists. It's starting to be pushed out even more and more and more. We see it, which is awesome. I'm so happy about that. But in reference to education portion, you don't see it enough. You don't see enough educators, you know what I'm saying, that look like ourselves. And I think it's very important because there's so much more to nails than just the glamorous looks that we see on Instagram and Facebook and, you know, TikTok and all these other social media platforms. You know, that's great, but that's not enough. You need to know the health of the nails. You need to know how to keep your clients, you know what I'm saying, having problems with, you know, fungus and lifting and breaking and, you know, just all the different avenues. And there's so much to learn that people don't really understand and grasp about nails. Initially, when they get into it, they think, oh, I'm just gonna learn how to do pretty nails. And I'm like, that's one aspect, but there's so many things, you know, involved in it. And I try to talk to them about that, especially with schools. So I do get that there's some states that don't require a license, that don't require so many hours. But I really want people that are interested in getting into nails to understand education is important. And there's nothing wrong with going online and doing your own research, and like I did myself, and trying to and self-teach and, you know what I'm saying, get an understanding. That's great. There's nothing wrong with that. But don't leave that to your only alternative. And you don't have to now, because there's so many options out there. Do your research and look into individuals. And just because someone knows how to do nails or has great content on their social media platforms does not mean they know how to teach. Those are two separate and totally different things, because you can know how to do nails, you can have a great social media platform, things look beautiful, but if you don't know how to actually prepare and talk to people and be patient with teaching them how to do nails, none of that other stuff is going to actually matter. So I really want people to understand that you need that in order for you to build your career and for you to have, for your clients to trust you. Because it's one thing, oh yeah, they do pretty nails, but they don't know how to talk to people. The communication skills are not the greatest. There's just so many things that could go wrong that you need to be prepared for. And it is a people industry, and some people don't understand that. You think that you would, but a lot of people forget that you have to have a certain type of personality to deal with the amount of people that you have on a regular basis when you're talking about building with clientele and things like that. So yeah, I think it's very, very, very important that if you are interested, you know, on learning how to teach people how to do nails, that you do get your instructor's license. I do recommend that. I do recommend, if you don't have it already in your city, you know, maybe you can't do it alone. Maybe you need someone to help you, but try to develop some kind of educational program or school or something where people can come and actually learn the processes and the skills, just like you go everywhere else. Like there's no law offices out here that people went and grew, you know what I'm saying? And they did not have any type of educational background. They didn't get a law degree. They had to go through something, right? It's the same thing we see on every corner, every plaza, a nail salon, but no schools. How is that possible? How is it possible that you have all of these nail salons, but there's no one teaching how to do nails? That does not make any sense. So yeah, I know obviously I'm not comparing a lawyer to a nail tech. of course, but I'm comparing the fact that it's something that you are offering, you know what I'm saying? It's a service that's needed or that's wanted, and you have to have some education behind it. And that's the same thing with what that goes into nails. So I'd highly recommend anyone that is interested in teaching, you know what I'm saying, that you feel like you have a passion for it, please, please, you know what I'm saying, don't give up on that, because we need more people that want to instruct and help people teach people how to do nails. I think that's important.
Yeah, absolutely. Most of it, I could totally agree with that. Now, with the curriculum, how long is like your curriculum? Is it like a 2-week type of curriculum? Like, how long is the curriculum like usually for your school?
So it is 3.5 months. So during that time, they have to obtain a minimum of 600 hours according to the Arizona State Board of Cosmetology. I only run 2 sessions a year because since I am the instructor and the owner, I'm wearing a lot of hats and having to do a whole lot of different things on a regular basis. So I don't want to overwhelm myself. So I have a session that runs from February to May, and then a session that runs from September until December. And then my off time, outside of making sure, you know, going over things that I need to for the next session, I'm also doing one-on-one classes. I offer those for people that want continuing education, or like if you've graduated from me and you've obtained a license, I offer a free continuing education class, things like that. They can come and sit and talk and try to, you know, hey, I'm working on this, I'm having problems with these, that type of thing. Because it's a constant, that's another thing with nails, with any industry, that it's never a stopping point. It's not, now I have my license, now I'm good. You're not done. You're not done. That is literally the beginning. Like, it's the very, very beginning. I'm still learning always. It may not be on the spectrum of someone who's brand new, of course, but I'm still learning. They're still, and it's ever changing. And the only way you can stay abreast and really making sure that you're at the forefront of, like, I guess you could say, like, how things are moving and changing, is constantly educating yourself and finding out what's going on in the industry, whether it's talking to other nail techs, whether it's, you know, reading about something, whether it's whatever it is, you know, taking other classes from people. Again, nothing wrong with taking classes from other people that do teach. Again, just making sure that you've gotten feedback and reviews to make sure that you're paying for those classes, or you're traveling, that you're really going to get the education that you're looking for, because you don't want to be disappointed in that. Because I've heard that before with people that have taken classes and doesn't meet up to their standards, because again, that person, like I said, social media looks great, they do great nails, but teaching is a different beast. So, but yeah, with my course, like I said, 3.5 months, and then I only do one schedule, again, because I'm the only instructor. So it's Tuesday through Saturday, and it's from 9 a.m. until 6 p.m.
All right. Yeah, but of course, I definitely agree, because you're always learning, because it's always something new coming out. You know, stuff is always evolving, especially with technology. Technology is evolving so fast. It's absolutely crazy.
So fast, yeah. And it's not going to stop for us, you know what I'm saying? So we have to try to, as much as possible. And that's another thing, I try not to overwhelm my students, because they think, well, that means I have to know how to do everything. And I was like, no, you need to be aware of different things, but you're not going to know how to do every nail design, every type of technique. That's impossible. That, you know, we're not robots. We're, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want that anyway, because you don't want every type of clientele. You want it to be mainstream based upon who is your target audience? Who are you looking, you know, for, as far as the type of people that you want to sit in your chair every single day. That's who you are, you know what I'm saying, marketing to. That's who you're pushing towards, you know what I'm saying? Not, you know what I'm saying, everybody. Everyone is not your client, and you're not for everyone. You know what I'm saying? And people have to understand. And sometimes they get kind of bogged down thinking they have to know how to do everything. No, find out what type of nail tech you want to be. Maybe you want to do, you know what I'm saying, natural nails and pedicures and kind of short, and you want to advertise to people that are in, you know what I'm saying, that the 9 to 5, you know what I'm saying, working class women type of, you know, there's so many different markets to look at, you know what I'm saying? Maybe you want to be a cartoon type of nail tech. There's nail techs that literally like draw whole portraits and all that other stuff. There's a market for that. You just have to figure out where do you fit and what do you want to do and make it work for you.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how could you describe like the nail scene in Arizona? Like, how big is it? Is it very, very small? Is it very, very big? Like, how can you describe the nail scene in Arizona?
It's growing. Tucson itself is pretty large. So Arizona itself is very large, because we have a large city like Phoenix, things like that. It's large, But places like where I live in Tucson, which is still a nice sized city, but it has a small town mentality.
Mm-hmm.
So like, yes, there's a lot of people here, but they're stuck in the way that they've been doing things, and they don't really adapt to change very well. So it takes them a minute. It's like, oh, I didn't know we could do this or we could do that. Like, yeah. So, which is, it's not a bad thing. It's been great for me because guess what? Being that there isn't a lot, you know what I'm saying? I am the only nail school, you know what I'm saying, here in Tucson. You know what I'm saying? That is a benefit, you know, it's nothing wrong. But I do, the nail industry itself is growing tremendously everywhere. And Tucson is just another part of another place that it's like now picking up more and more and more and more. And people want more than just to go to a nail shop and, you know, get the basics. And, you know, people don't want that anymore. They want to know, what are you doing? They want to speak to someone that actually understands exactly what they want and explain to them. They don't want what I call, you know, chop shop nails leading like in and out. They don't want that type of service anymore. They want something that is more personalized. I'm going to sit down, I'm going to either go over something that you want, or I'm going to show you a picture and I can actually do what it is that you're asking me to do, or try to replicate whatever it is that you're wanting, you know what I'm saying, that type of thing. So things have changed as far as that goes. And I see a lot of people, and even here, you know what I'm saying, I feel like the school has done very well with people that are wanting to come in and actually learn, because it is a growing industry and it's growing so much that people are like, I want to go, you know what I'm saying? So like, for example, this session that I'm about to start in September, it's been pretty full pretty much for the last, like before the last session even ended. I have like one space available. So, you know what I'm saying, it's moving really, really quickly. And in the next month or so, I'm going to start accepting enrollment for my February class. So that in itself lets me know that many people are signing up, you know what I'm saying, constantly interested. It's a fast-paced growing industry. It's not going to stop. It's not going to change anytime soon. And I also tell people that, with that being said, try not to get discouraged, because I know people see, oh my gosh, well, everybody named mama and auntie and grandmama is doing nails. Like, how am I supposed to like make my, you know what I'm saying? Like, how is this going to work for me? But you're not everybody. Everybody has something individually to bring. There's opportunities for everybody. There's going to be some people that, you know what I'm saying, like you said, that want to teach, or that want to open up their own school, or like I said, different, depending on the market that you choose, there's not going to be an oversaturated amount of people necessarily in a specific market. You have to find out your niche. You know what I'm saying? That's why it worked for me, because the type of nails that I decided to do, everybody wasn't doing that here. It was I'm talking about slim to none. You know, now you see it a little bit more, but it wasn't a thing prior to. So yeah, you just have to find out what works for you, where you live, what you can bring to your industry and that type of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, find your own niche. Like it could be also just doing press-on nails, you know?
I'm talking about, when I say there's so many online, there's, you know, like I was just talking about the educational classes, there's so many opportunities, and people limit themselves because they see everybody else. Don't worry about everybody else. Worry about you. What do you want to do and what are you good at? And push that. And just how you love whatever it is, somebody else is going to, and somebody else is going to, and so on and so forth. And they're going to tell the person next to them, and, you know, keep going from there. It's going to move. Right. You know, people get so bogged down about, you know, the pace of it, because we all want kind of fast pace, you know, things when it comes to our business and growth. But it doesn't work like that. It's going to take time. But the more time you spend with it, the only way it does not become successful is if you stop. That's it. Just like anything else, like it has to build and grow and get better. The only way it doesn't is if you mentally just say, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm tired, I'm frustrated, it's not working, or you don't see the growth that you want, and you just completely stop whatever it is. But nobody successful got there by stopping. It doesn't work like that.
Right, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So who would you consider to be like your favorite nail artist?
It's hard to pinpoint one person. If I had to pick one specific person that I felt is my favorite, not necessarily because of the type of nails that they do, but because of who they were in my life when I first started doing nails, and how they helped and mentored me without any type of like, you know, you hear it, people will say, oh, I messaged this person or I contacted this person, and they were very like standoffish, or didn't want to talk to me, or didn't want to give me the time of the day, or they would answer my questions, or that type of thing. So that's why I said this particular person was not like that at all. And that's, I don't know if she has an underscore, I don't think so, but it's Vanessa Nailz on Instagram. I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she has a Z at the end of, but she also has a product line. She's been around for a pretty long time. She has a pretty nice following on Instagram. She's been, I would say, I've never met her personally. I only know her through social media, but we've always had, you know what I'm saying, great like feedback off of one another. Like when I needed help, like, cause she was definitely further along in the nail game than I was when I first, you know, started coming out. And I was like, man, I'm trying to build my Instagram, asking her questions, you know what I'm saying, every once in a while. And she would never mind answering and saying, hey, you know, did you look at this? Or, you know, things like that. And I feel like everybody needs that person, you know what I'm saying? Not to say she's the only one, because she's definitely not. I've gotten it, you know, saying from a few others, but she's the one I would say in the very beginning of my career. And I still have, you know what I'm saying, like that, like I said, that social media contacts and relationship with her. Definitely would love to meet her in person. We talk about it. We just have never made it happen because we're literally on the opposite end. I think she's like in Buffalo. So definitely nowhere near each other, but it doesn't mean we can't make it work at some point. But I love how innovative she is with her nails. I love that she now has her own product line, and she's really, like I said, she found her niche, you know, for her outside of doing nails. She found that the product line was something that she was super interested in, and she got involved in it, and she's done great. And so I love to see us, you know what I'm saying, like people, you know what I'm saying, of color. She's not Black, but she's, I want to say, I think Puerto Rican, but any of us win. I think of all of us the same, women in general. I would like to see us win, you know what I'm saying, when it comes to having our own business, because we weren't looked at as a time where that was even a thing or a possibility. And now it's over the last probably, like, I would say like 30 or 40 years, like it's just really a thing. Like women is out here getting it, and you know what I'm saying, we're the go-getters, and when it comes to making business happen and things like that. So definitely a huge shout out to Vanessa Nailz. She was a great mentor, you know what I'm saying, for me when I first got started. So, and I'll definitely try to be the same in return to other people, because I know what it was like starting out. So I appreciated that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what has been your whole experience owning your own nail salon or working in a nail salon?
So I've never physically owned my own nail salon. I literally went from being an independent contractor. So it's similar to that aspect, but I didn't actually own the entire salon. I just owned my space and operated it as an independent contractor within my space. So something I thought about doing was owning a salon, but I never went straight into that because, again, I found what I wanted to do, and mine was teaching. So that's why I went from that, you know, right into the school ownership aspect of it. But as far as being independent contractor, I loved it. You know what I'm saying? I love the fact that I created my own schedule. I created my own pricing. You know what I'm saying? You know, obviously was in control of what products I use, and just making, you know, however I wanted to build my clientele, all of that was up to me. So that's the good and the bad. I guess you could say bad part of it, you know, yes, everything is on you. You know what I'm saying? You are responsible for everything. But the great thing is you're responsible for everything. So that means you get all the credit when you do make sure that your business grows, and you do put in the dedication and the work and the love and all those things that go into it. You are now the one that gets the glory for that, because you're like, oh my gosh, like you can sit back, and not necessarily from other people. I'm talking about from yourself, to sit back and say, man, I did this. Like, this is so awesome. It feels really, really good to have your own. So I definitely recommend it. I even tell my students, I said, it's nothing wrong with going into a salon and starting off a commission base. Nothing wrong with it at all. I personally don't recommend doing it on a long-term spectrum. Excuse me, only because I feel like long-term, you kind of cut yourself off with having the ability to really have your own. And I feel like that's the whole reason why you're getting the trade. And now you're paying so much out for basically the commission goal for the salon is going towards like their expenses, their overhead, them advertising for you, the products they're purchasing for you, and so on and so forth. Now, that's just my opinion. If somebody gets into and decides commission is where they want to be and they don't want to do anything else and they're happy in that, there's nothing wrong with that. I would never tell someone that they're wrong. That's just my personal opinion, is that I feel like to me, commission is a starting point.
Right.
It's not the end of your spectrum. But I have heard, some businesses where they operate like that and they only offer commission and it works for them. You know what I'm saying? You just have to find a system that works for them. And there's people that come in and they love it and that's what they want to stay with. I do recommend, period, going into a salon at some point. I know a lot of people end up, and it's a really big thing now with working from home. I do let them know I said nothing wrong with that. Again, I wouldn't stay there. You get, kind of complacent when you work from home. I know from experience, you get very, very complacent. And on top of that, you really cut off your ability to be able to grow your clientele. Because if you're in a salon atmosphere, you have the walk-ins, you have, wherever it's located, all of that. You have all of those different avenues. And then you interacting with other people that are also involved, in similar industries, whether it's with hair, skin, or whatever the case may be. So I highly recommend at some point in your career, especially if you're thinking of owning a salon, to go into and actually work in a salon. But I definitely, so that's the next step for MJ Nailz Academy. We are going to be opening up MJ Nailz Studios. So basically it'll be a place where students that have graduated from me and become licensed, or if they have actually taken a class from me, can actually come into work. Because that's another thing that I've run into, a lot of issues that people are like, oh my gosh, I'm a license, I graduated, I'm so excited, everything's great, but I don't have anywhere to work. You know what I'm saying? Like the salons here, for whatever reason, it's just not the availability for nail salons is not there. What it is, you know what I'm saying? It's a culture difference. So it's kind of hard to go into a shop that culturally, they do things a little different, or they're only hired generally their own, you know what I'm saying, culture. So yeah, that's the things that I found out recently, probably over the last like year or so after, because it'll be 2 years. The school's been in business as of September. So my experience with that, I can now see like, oh, this is something I need to do. So yeah, probably be next year. I wanted to do it sooner, but I just have to be realistic about what the things that I have going on schedule wise and time and all of that. So yeah, probably sometime next year I will open up MJ Nailz Studio. So then I can definitely express to you my opinion on owning a salon too, because that will be my first time doing that.
That's really cool. Absolutely. Now I want to get into the pricing. So what are some things you could recommend in terms of for someone who wants to price their nail service? Like how does one go about pricing their nail services?
So I would, as far as pricing, first you need to look at where do you live? You know what I'm saying? But you need to look at your market. So depending on where you live, you need to kind of see like other people's pricing, just to have at least a comparing start. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't mean that you have to price it exactly the same, because what you may offer may be completely different than what someone else may offer. But at least so you can have, okay, so they're full sets for a medium short nail, ballerina style, or square, however you want to call it, with the different shapes or whatever, is, what I'm saying, is $50. I'm just giving an example, depending on where you live. Okay, so it's $50. So kind of look them and maybe look at maybe 5 or 6 other salons around you, and then compare based upon what do they offer. So if those salons are, what I'm saying, not really offering, really good products or high-end products, they're not really doing the prep work very well, the shaping isn't the greatest and things like that, you can take all of that into consideration. So now you can be like, okay, well, based upon that, I'm going to be, $10 or $15 higher, because guess what? I am offering that. And I do have an educational background, and so you kind of look at all this. So I tell my graduates when they leave, I said, yeah, you want to have a starting point. You never want to be very high in your pricing. Yes, you're charging your worth, but because you're at a starting point, you want an opportunity to be able to grow. And so what you do is you start off at a really high price. Now you get to the point where it's like, okay, I'm ready to go up on my price $5 or $6, or a couple of dollars here and there, depending on the, add-on services. You are going to struggle, because now people are not going to want to pay those prices when they're, outrageously high. So you have to be realistic about that. And you want to create room for growth for yourself. So you start off, and then slowly but surely, guess what? You'll get to a point where, to be honest with you, as a nail tech, you'll find out you'll cap. you'll get to a point where you really can't, I mean, besides add-on services, you really can't do too much as far as keep adding on, to the pricing structure, because you don't want to overwhelm your clients. You don't want them to feel like you're trying to get over on them or anything like that. And then this industry is one where the mentality is growing, but it's still one where we don't necessarily get paid as much as we should compared to a lot of other services. It's just a mentality where it started off where you would go and get these $15, $20 nails, and it's been a push to really get people to understand, like, that's not realistic. When you have all these, we require more products, we require more time, the intricacy and the details. There's so many things that you have to take into, concept before you determine $20. Like, you're not doing anything, at that point. So I definitely feel like you need to charge your worth, and that's going to be different for everybody. I know people they just want you to say a set price. That's not realistic, because your price is not going to be someone else's, and so on and so forth. You have to really sit down and evaluate where you are. So are you beginner? Are you intermediate? Are you advanced? The skills that you've already developed. That's why I say continue to educate yourself, taking classes, because that's an investment in yourself. And guess what? You can charge for that. When you go to school, you can charge for that. When you get additional classes, you charge for that. All of that information that you have that someone else that they're going to does not have, that's something you're charging. That's what worth means. Not worth meaning like, do you know how to do nails? Worth meaning like, what have you invested in yourself that someone else has not, that you can give to them that they're not going to be able to get from another nail tech? That's what you have to look at. That's what pricing is developed upon. So again, no set price, but as you're doing it, you'll be able to see. Like I said, when you start marketing and you're looking at other people around you in your areas, you create that pricing structure, and then you kind of move from there. So yeah, you do cap. And the reason that what I do suggest when you do get to the point where you feel like, okay, I can't really go up anymore on my prices. So you have the add-on services, things like that. That's why I do recommend adding on to your business, whether it is learning how, if it's teaching is something that you'd be interested in, or, maybe working with a product line, you know what I'm saying? Something that you can add an additional possible residual income that doesn't require you to do so much work as far as doing nails. Because there is going to be a cap to the amount of money that you may be able to make at a certain point, because you're only going to be able to do so many clients in a day, in a week, in a month, in a year. So you need something else coming in that's going to flow into your income, you know what I'm saying, that you don't have to necessarily do so much work, if that makes sense. So that's just my recommendation, in my opinion, you know what I'm saying, when you get to a certain point in advancement in your career.
Yeah, absolutely. Now I want to get into marketing strategies. Now, what are some marketing strategies that you can recommend for a nail tech in terms of putting their work out there? Do you recommend like a portfolio website, or like a website where they have their portfolio and prices? Like, what do you recommend in terms of people promoting their nail services and nail art?
So I do recommend that they use some type of platform in order to showcase, like you said, their pricing and things like that. There are so many out there. I've used Square. I'm trying to think of that one I used to use back in the day. I can't even think of the name of it. There's a number out there. Say that again.
Wix.
I haven't used that one, but I do know about that. There's Vagaro. There's different ones. There's so many different type of platforms that you can use to basically, they don't necessarily advertise for you, but so, okay, the more that you do as far as building your clientele and reviews and things like that, they will kind of push you to the forefront of their platform when people start the search. So say, for instance, they're searching for a nail technician in your area and yours has a high amount of reviews, you know what I'm saying? And you seem like there's a lot of people that are coming back to you on a regular basis, it pushes your name up there. So that's one way, you know what I'm saying? Of course, social media is an amazing platform that we all should be utilizing in order to promote our businesses. You know, it obviously can be very difficult. It is taxing. It is like another job, trying to fight that algorithm and put things a certain place and hashtags. Don't use hashtags. And that, it can be a little bit, but it is worth it. Especially when you're talking about something, a free advertisement. You're not paying for it, it's free. So it is something that can definitely work for your business. I highly recommend it because I have, as of yet, I have not paid for any advertisement for MJ Nailz Academy because of my social media platform has done very well for me. So I feel like that's definitely one that you want to for sure try to push and work on as much as possible. I feel like with social media, the key is consistency. People want to see that whatever you're putting out with your work is consistent. So just because I do recommend taking pictures of all of your work, just so you can look in, zoom in, look at stuff. Hey, how's my cuticles looking? How's my shaping looking? How's the design? Because it's one thing to look at it and the person walks away. But once they're gone, you can't remember. You're not going to have a photographic memory of what you actually did. With that picture, you can kind of go over and be like, oh, you know what? I could have did that a little bit cleaner. I could have did a little bit better with that. I need to work on that, that type of thing. But that does not mean post every picture, because whatever you're posting is where you're going to be attracting your clients. So say, for example, you do some short nails, real simple, whatever. If that's not what you're wanting to push or promote, I would not suggest necessarily posting that, because you're going to change the outlook of your page if you've been posting, like say, for example, I was saying earlier, like intricate designs with crystals and encapsulation and all these different things. And all of a sudden you post something that's completely opposite of that. They're going to be confused. You're going to confuse your platform. So you want to try to be as consistent as possible and also consistent with the work. So if you're putting out great work, and let's say you took a picture of something, you looked at it and it wasn't, your best, or you could have done a little bit better, don't post that. It's okay. Because if you post it and now, again, you're putting out inconsistencies. So consistency across the board is the key with any type of social media platform. People want to see, it's almost like, it sounds crazy, but it's like, they want to see perfection every time. They don't want to get on there and be like, one day you were good and one day you weren't. They don't want that. They want, it to look good. You know what I'm saying? Now, of course, we all know reality is no one is perfect. We all have, our off days. But for the most part, especially if you are a trained nail technician and you've been doing it for a while, you can be consistent in the work that you're doing. And then on top of that, you want to put out stuff that you want to do and that you're going to be good at doing, because you don't want them to come and sit down and be like, oh, so I saw this post where you put up this hand-painted design with a whole cartoon on it. You're like, I don't really want to do that. I just was kind of practicing. Don't put that out there, because that's what they're going to come and ask what you promote. You know what I'm saying? You're saying that you do. So I definitely feel like I said, I would recommend getting a site where you can actually book your clients through. There's nothing wrong. I know people do it, keep a book, or they keep a calendar, or they will, use like DMs and things like that in order to create appointments. I would not recommend that. So for a couple of things. One reason I would not recommend that is because something happens sometimes with messaging, right? Like almost like the game of telephone. You get the information and somehow something got mixed up. Oh, I forgot to put them in my books, or they said they wanted this or they wanted to move. And it's just, and then on top of that, with that also comes your availability of time. So you get to a point where you're busy doing clients back to back, 4 to 5 days a week. You're not going to have time to spend hours at night or in the morning now responding to messages and creating scheduling. That's going to bog down so much of your time, free time, and that's not going to help you in your business, and you're going to get overwhelmed and you're probably going to want to stop. So I recommend those platforms, like I said, like Square and the Vagara and the ones that you mentioned, only because they have a system. It's already there. The person can go in, see what type of services you offer, click and book the appointments. It gives them the slot of time. And, some of them, even like the one I mentioned with Vagara, they have where you can approve or deny or, whatever, creates the appointment for them, sends them a reminder, and you don't have to do anything. And guess what they do? Say one day they're looking at, oh shoot, I put it for Tuesday. I meant to come Wednesday. Guess what they can do? Go on there, click, cancel or reschedule the appointment and move on. But you don't have to now go back and forth, back and forth. What do you have available? Well, what about this? That is way too time consuming. And trust me, for somebody who's done it back in the day before all of this was available. I had to make my own appointments and it was a hassle. So I don't recommend doing any of that. And it's more professional for your clients too, because it's easier for them. A lot of times you can go on there and create deposits to accept. So that way you don't have to worry about dealing with a lot of the cancellation issues, you know what I'm saying? Because you get more serious clients where you're charging them a deposit or you charge them a cancellation fee, things like that. All of that is within those systems already created for you. So you don't have to even worry about it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Now, in terms of having your own trade school, because I know we talked about it earlier. Yeah. So what advice would you give for someone who's an instructor who wants to have like their own trade school? Like, what is something that people should understand in terms of starting their own trade school, like their own nail school?
I would just understand that you need to do your research as far as the state, city, and or the state that you're in and the regulations and what's required. Well, I shouldn't say all because I can't say that. I would assume that majority, if not all, state boards have something on their website where you can go and actually look and do like a search, and it'll show you exactly, you know, what it takes in order to open up a school. You know what I'm saying? They'll give literally listed. They'll talk about, you know, if they have a fee where that's required, the application, what all of the requirements are as far as like the seating, the, you know what I'm saying, how many square footage or bathrooms and lockers, all of the detailed information. I would definitely look at that first and read it over and over and over again and really like get a full understanding of all of that first. And then if you have to, maybe reach out to your state board and ask them questions if you need to make sure you get an understanding. But I really just would spend a lot of time really planning, almost kind of like same thing you get when you open up any type of business. You really want to plan it out. You really want to know exactly what licenses do I require based upon my state. You know what I'm saying? What do I want my business to look like? You know what I'm saying? Create a business plan, you know what I'm saying? Have a strategy and really write out all of this information. You know what I'm saying? How much is it going to take for you to get started? You know what I'm saying? Are you going to be able to use your own money? Do you need to take out a loan? Like all of these things you have to really sit down and really think about first. It's not something meaning that it can't be done. It's just going to take time. So again, it's, you know, I know we're in a what they call like a popcorn, you know what I'm saying, era. Everybody wants something and wants it right now. But, you know, if you really want to be successful and you want to open up your business and actually maintain and grow, you're going to have to take your time and do it. So I would recommend them doing that first. And then depending on how long they've been instructing, I would say, you know what I'm saying, really take your time and make sure that you're getting feedback from the people that you're instructing, that you're actually helping them. And I'm not saying that they aren't, but it takes more than just, okay, I have my instructor's license and I've been teaching, because you have to make sure, okay, what are you able to help other students? For example, I would, so prior to me even getting my instructor's license, I started doing like one-on-one and continued education classes with people because they were interested in learning how the techniques and things of how I do nails. And then I also started helping people that wanted to take their state board license, because unfortunately there's a lot of schools here. Again, they prepare you enough for your state board, but there's a lot of things that they miss, that they don't pick. So I started helping them, you know what I'm saying? I walked them through, okay, this is what you need to do, you know what I'm saying? Especially when we had the practical exam where you had to actually go in front of people and they watch you do the services and all of that, helping them make and understand how they pack their bags and all that. You need to make sure that, and I had students that, I had people that would come to me, get the help, and guess what? Now they're licensed because I was able to help them through that process. Things like that, you want to make sure that there's kind of feedback first, because you don't want to get into it and then you're like, oh my gosh, like I didn't realize I really wasn't, you know what I'm saying? I was doing a little bit, but there's so much more I could be doing to help my students, because that's going to kind of push back your time as far as, how can I explain it? So as far as people graduating and moving forward in order to get their license, you're not going to see the productivity rates move as quickly as you would like it to if you don't already have some of that going for you initially. So I would just, take a look at that. And then, if you have to, I was able to start it without using another instructor or another person, but that doesn't mean that's not everybody's journey. So you may need other people to help you, develop that. And then also look at where you live. Is it a niche right there? Is there somewhere where you don't have a nail school or you don't have, an adequate trade school available? All of that's necessary. So yeah, I definitely would get all of that information first. And it's not easy, y'all. I wish it was. I wish I could tell you it was so easy to just open up a trade school, but it was not. It was a lot of work, but it's worth it. It's done really, really well, and I wouldn't take it back. You know what I'm saying? I've learned a lot. So.
Now, what has been your experience like working with different clients? Like, when you worked and you had your own space, like, was it where like, you had the freedom to do like whatever you wanted in terms of designs and stuff? Or was it like, a client would ask like, hey, can you do this design? And you were just like, how did that work? Like working with clients in terms of services?
I feel like initially it was a situation where, I was still learning, growing, since they were allowing me to try, different things. Of course, they would bring me designs. Things are a little bit different now because I feel like back in the day, there again wasn't a lot of social media platforms, so it wasn't the Instagram nails that were being brought to me to replicate and things like that. Now you see it a lot, you know what I'm saying, where people are getting a lot of things because they're getting things with social media in order to do that. So I would say when I started, it was more so them pretty much mainly wanting me to just try different things and see what works, to see what designs they liked. I've gotten to the point now, I still have a few little clients. I don't have a lot because, my schedule is a little bogged down. I don't really have the availability to do a lot of clients, but the ones that I do have or that I kept, they just literally sit down. They don't even know what they're gonna get until their nails are done. You know what I'm saying? And they look at them and like, oh, they're so pretty or whatever. I love them, that type of thing. But that's just a relationship that I built with them. They just know, they're just like, I'm coming to get my nails done. I don't know what you're gonna do, but we'll see whenever you're finished. And I still have a couple that still will be like, hey, can you do this and bring me a picture? Or they'll try to help me develop the idea with me. So I think it's just personality. I think it really is. It's personality, is relationships. You build relationships with your clients. A lot of them become almost like your friends, not necessarily outside of the salon. They're still your clients, but you talk to them like friends. You hang out when you're doing their nails and they tell you their life stories, you know what I'm saying? And their experiences and all of that. So I would say that, over time you build really great you should be building really great relationships with your clients. So I don't, you are going to have the ones, unfortunately, that you can't make everybody happy. You know what I'm saying? They're going to be ones that, just want to complain or have issues. You know what I'm saying? You do your best that you can to deal with those, as professionally as possible. But I feel, in my opinion, that the energy you give out is what you're going to get back. So majority of the time when I have clients, they match my energy, because the energy that I'm giving out, you know what I'm saying, I try to, is very positive, as well, welcoming and warm. So that's pretty much the type of clients that I have, you know what I'm saying? So I'm not saying never, because I have had ones that did not, but for the most part, they match, you know what I'm saying, the similar energy. And I feel like that's important, because if you are, someone who's a little messy and drama and got all these different things going on, same thing with your social media platform. Be careful what you're putting out there, because that's what you're going to attract. And that's the type of people that are going to sit in your seat day after day, and you're going to be so drained. You're going to be like, oh, I wish I didn't have. But guess what? You put out this messy post, and that's what brought them. You know what I'm saying? Like people say, all, about business or whatever, it doesn't matter, good, saying a bad publicity. No, it doesn't matter, because you don't want just anyone sitting in your chair, because you're sitting with them for a number of hours, and you don't want to soak up a whole bunch of bad, you know what I'm saying, like, energy and drama, and just that bogs you down. And then you got to turn in and like to the next client and give them that same, you want it to be, refreshing. And that's the only way, in my opinion, that I'm able to create the designs that I do, is because what's going on around me, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
That makes a difference, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, I definitely agree with that. Now, what has been like your favorite nail products to use when doing nails?
Nail products, I would say I definitely love using um, acrylic, you know what I'm saying, to do a lot of my designs and things like that, whether it's like encapsulation. But I love more so acrylic designs. I do use, gel paints. I do use gel polish and things like that. But my go-to, you know what I'm saying, if I were to say that, would be things with acrylic, like acrylic colors and, you know what I'm saying, things like that. So that's probably my favorite, if I had to say.
Hmm. Yeah, that's really, really cool. Now I want to get into nail shapes because like you wear like the stiletto all the time. So what
Yeah.
attracted you to that nail shape of stiletto?
Um, It's so funny because when I first seen the shape, because back in the day, it was not cute, Asia. I don't know what was going on. Like kind of a point, but then they were wide. It was just not cute. So at first, when I first seen them, I was like, I would never wear that. Who's wearing that? They look like talons. They're not
Right.
cute. But one day, I don't even know who it was because it was so long ago. But one day I seen someone do them and they were very sleek looking. And I was like, oh, those are pretty. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, I
Hmm.
would like, I definitely, okay, now that I will wear. The other ones, I was like, no. And I remember trying it. It was just like a simple pink and white ombre. That's
Hmm.
what they called baby boomers was out big. Everybody was wearing pink and white ombre. It was just like the
Right.
thing. If not every client, every other client was getting it pretty much. Like I sat in my chair. And I did it, you know I'm saying, on myself, some stilettos at that time, pretty compared to now, they were considered very short. You know what I'm saying? But I did it and I was like, oh, I like it. And I don't know, it just pretty much ran from there. And I would every once in a while I had try to go to like another shape or like square or
Oh,
ballerina
right.
just to try it on my hands. But because I feel like my hands are like really short and kind of like chunky, to
Hmm.
me, just make sure my hands look longer, really like feminine, you know what I'm saying? And I would do the other shape and it'd be okay, but it's not the same. Like I don't feel like any other shape gives you that real like feminine look like stilettos do, in my opinion. So yes, definitely my go-to. Maybe one day I would try another shape. I to you, probably not just because I like them so much. I don't know, but to the point where my clients, they'll be like, "Girl, I just want to try stilettos. I be seeing you with them. I don't know. I don't want to poke myself." And of course, we have the conversation. What do you do for work? All that other things that you gotta, line up. I don't want you doing anything, or you got a little 2-month-old baby. I'm like, these ain't gonna work.
Right.
But most of them like, oh no, I'm going on vacation, this and other. I just want to try it. And I would say 9 times out of 10, they end up going to stilettos and they pretty much don't go back. Or if they do, they'll go back and forth, but they like stilettos once they have them in their hands because it is such a feminine look.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Now I want to get into you being a nail pro educator. So how did that opportunity happen?
So the nail pro education came, I want to say they did, how did it start? I want to say, oh yes, they did a group message on Instagram, and it was like me and I don't even remember how many other ones, but it was a bunch of other nail techs. I'm sure pretty much all of them were like either instructors of some type or they do continuing education classes, things like that. And they basically reached out, you know what I'm saying, and was, let us know that this opportunity was available to be an educator. And, they would like, I think they wanted to introduce each educator, you know what I'm saying? And like they wanted like headshots and all this information and questionnaires and all these things that we had to fill out. And that was pretty much it. Like, once they came to me, of course, because I have the school and being an instructor already, you know what I'm saying? I felt like it was an amazing opportunity, you know what I'm saying, to get it out there that we need to be educated even more.
Hmm.
I know that they focus as far as Nail Pro Magazine, of course, they focus on a lot of like nail art, nail trends and things like that. But the education side, you don't hear a lot of. So I was very
Right.
excited to started doing that. You know what I'm saying? I'm still a part of the team. I don't really do a lot with them. And it's not anything on them or on myself. It's just, in general, just because, my schedule is busy. And I feel like whenever they reach out to me, they want me to do something like they did recently. It was for I think it was for like Women's Month or something like that. I'm pretty sure that's what it was. It was for Women's Month. They wanted, to issue, I'm saying, something in there. And I was like, absolutely, I would love, to be a part of it. They sent me the questions that went over all the stuff and, about the school and, they presented the article. So
Mhm.
I feel like anytime that you have a way to create awareness of things and the platforms, I feel like it's an awesome opportunity to try to make sure that you are a part of that, because that's the only way you're going to get your name out there, because it's different. When I started and when social media started, there were, I don't know if you remember, but there were a lot of pages that actually promoted nails. Like you would go on there and they would like promote different nail techs like every other day or every day. You know what I'm saying? They would grab nail pictures, they would post it and put it on blast, and people would find it and be like, oh my gosh. And I feel like that's how my following gained, was through
Right.
a lot of those pages. But they're not really popular anymore. You don't really see, I mean, not to say those pages aren't there, but it's not something that's really pushed a lot. You know, I feel like maybe, I don't know if it's because of TikTok, or I'm not really sure why it's not as popular, but you really don't see, and because pictures are even hard now. Nail pictures, I was like thinking about it when you asked me, you're like, do you have any nail pictures? I'm like, I gotta struggle. I said, because I don't really do nail, because nobody, it's like a thing where they're like, oh, it has to be a video. I'm like, oh my goodness. So I had to change everything out, transfer everything over to videos. It's like nobody wants to see nail pictures anymore. So it's like, yeah, it's different. I don't know. You know, things are changing. Try to keep up with the times as best as I can. So
Yeah, absolutely. Now, what stands out to you in terms of the nail industry, and how important is Black representation in the nail industry?
so you say that part again. You said what stands out as far as, I didn't hear the first part again.
What stands out to you in terms of the nail industry, and how important is Black representation within the nail industry?
About that. So what stands out to me in the nail industry, I would say just how diverse it can be. You know what I'm saying? I feel like with our industry, there's, first of all, I put it in a post today. I was like, it's the thing I love about nails is that it's very hard to have the same type of nail. You know what I'm saying? Like, for example, I'm picking industry, like my friend, she does lashes. She's like, girl, a lash is a lash is a lash. Like I could take pictures of lashes, but I have to be really creative as far as like how I'm posting about it, because it gets boring. She was like, with nails, I feel like none of your nails look the same. Even if you do the same, you can take the same color that you did 2 weeks ago and make a whole different design. It looks completely different. So that's what I do love about our industry, is that you can be very, very creative. It's, you know what I'm saying, something that it'll be very difficult to like run out of ideas. I don't see how you, because there's so many, you could take literally the same, like I just said, color or design, and just really recreate it all over again, and it just brings it back to life. You know what I'm saying? So I definitely love that about our industry so much. It makes me like never want to not be a part of it. You know what I'm saying? Like whether, like I said, it's education or not, you know, doing nails, like I always want to have some type of part into it, because I love how, you know what I'm saying, it makes people happy and smile, like see their nails, like, oh my gosh, you know what I'm saying? That's a great feeling that you can't ever, you know what I'm saying, replace with anything else. And then I'm sorry, what was your other question again? You said
How important is Black representation in the nail industry?
Extremely, extremely important. Like our Black queens have to like step up, you know what I'm saying, and make sure, not to say they're not already, but I'm just saying we gotta make sure we putting ourselves out there and putting ourselves in the forefront to be like, look, we here, you know what I'm saying? It doesn't matter about nationality in reference to you doing these services. It has nothing to do. We just made it that way because that's all we knew. You know what I'm saying? Back in the day, there was only culturally one specific group that does nails. That's just what we were known. But if you really think about it, it does not matter. Like they didn't come up, they didn't invent nails. You know what I'm saying? If you do like the history of nails, you know what I'm saying? It came from all kinds of, you know what I'm saying, different cultures. You know what I'm saying? The Zhao dynasty and all these different things did have a play in it, but there wasn't one culture that just like came up with nails. You know, it was used on many different platforms, you know what I'm saying? So I think we just have to kind of do away with that mentality, you know what I'm saying, and focus on what do you want to do? If this is something you want to do, this is a goal, I say go for it, you know, period. Just go for it. You know what I'm saying? You never know what it's going to do. I even tell people, I'm like, okay, so say for instance, you do go to school, right? Because people have that nervousness, like, what if like I don't, you know, love it like I thought I was going to, or it doesn't grow as rapidly as I thought I was going to. Guess what? It still is something that is yours forever. Once you have a trade, you can't get fired from that. So you can take that, you can work it part-time, you can be full-time, you can do whatever you want to, you can do it as a side, you can do celebrities, you can, whatever you want to do with that, it's yours. it's up to you what you want to do with it. You know what I'm saying? But it's not something that you have the ability to get fired from or anything like that at all. But it only, you know what I'm saying? Like my shirt that I have on that says dreams. What does it say? Dreams don't work unless you do, period.
Mm-hmm.
That's just what
Absolutely.
it is. You know what I'm saying? It don't work unless you put in the work. So let's, you just, like I said, just let it go and say, oh, I don't feel like doing it anymore. But I was like, it's yours. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's up to you, whatever you want to do, for sure.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. The possibilities are endless. Like there's so many products out, so many opportunities, like how you said before. And also too, like, there's a lot of, products that have grown over the years, and I like how you touched within the panel with you, Kirsty, and Tamika and Kiki about MMA, and MMA is illegal. And I think that's something that's very important to understand, because you got to be careful of using those products, because that can get somebody allergic reaction and things of that nature. So you don't want that.
Educating. That's why I was saying education, but we don't like to do it because it's the nitty gritty is hard, and it's, but it's like you say, it's stuff that people need to know. You need to know what products to use and not to use, and the difference between them, and why you shouldn't use them. You know what I'm saying? Like you need to be educated about all of that, because if you don't, guess what? You're going to, fall into that trap and just be doing stuff because it's cheap. Like we were listening to someone talk about it. They were like, oh, it's cheaper to use this. It's not about that. Yes, there's a lot of things that you could probably use that are cheaper,
Right.
but you're talking about putting something on someone's body. You're not focused on it being cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like that's not what it's about. So yeah, for sure.
Yeah, the safety of the client, it always comes first. Absolutely.
Absolutely. 1000% agree. Like if your client isn't safe, isn't comfortable, having issues, like it's not going to matter. You're not going to, because that's who you're servicing. Like without them, you don't have a business. So you have to make sure that they're good.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, how would you define success in your perspective?
I feel like success comes from your own mentality, like how you feel about yourself and what you're doing, and you know what I'm saying, where you're going. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody's reason for doing things is going to be different, right? Some people are like, I'm trying to create something for my family, longevity. You know what I'm saying? To pass down to them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm going to create, for example, talk about having your own business. I want to create more time with my family, or more time for myself, or, just different things. So your success may become, it doesn't necessarily have to be a monetary or, thing, a monetary or financial thing. It could be say, hey, I accomplished this goal. You know what I'm saying? I became a nail tech and I now have, a clientele base that I wanted. That's success. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like it's literally your mind. But I definitely feel like the success only comes with the hard work. And I feel like a lot of people want to skip over that. You know what I'm saying? They just want the success part of whatever it is, but you have to put in the work. You're going to have to put in those hours and that time. You know what I'm saying? That research, all of those things have to come first before you actually breed any type of success. Whether I could say that for some people, it may be small or big or whatever, but any of that only comes with you putting in the work, period.
Yeah, absolutely. And going back to what you said, like how that instant gratification, especially within my generation, people look at the glitz and glam of all these celebrities, but it's like, there's a lot of hard work behind that. So that's with anybody.
Yeah, and it is. And I feel like I think some people know it, or they're like, okay, yeah, that makes sense. But they see so many what they think they see. They see so many things that seems like like you said, it was instant gratification on their end. It seemed like it happened so quickly for them. I know I can do that without going through all these things. And it's like, no, you can't. It may seem like that. Maybe for some reason, visually, we're seeing a 30-second TikTok. So you're like, oh, this is it. That's all I need. You know what I'm saying? But it's, like you said, it's so many things that trials and tribulations and tests that they've had to go through in order, you know what I'm saying, to get to where they are. And especially if you looking at how, especially if you're looking at them and you're like, they are extremely successful. Like, trust me, they went through some extreme tests in order to get that. Like, however more successful they are in your eyes, they went through that much more of, you know what I'm saying, hard work and tests and trials and tribulations. Believe that.
Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree. Now, how do you balance work and everyday life?
I feel like it is a constant struggle. Like it's probably never not gonna be a struggle, but I think sometimes you just have to, like, for example, when I decided to do just the 2 sessions per year, because at first I was going to do 3. And then I really had to think about it because I was thinking about, oh, I have enough months in the year. There are only 3.5 months. I could grab and put another session. But I literally thought about it. I sat down with my husband and we just like kind of strategized, what's best and what works. And I was like, he was like, you're going to be too bogged down. You're going to be too overwhelmed. You know what I'm saying? You're putting too much stress on yourself trying to keep up with all those sessions. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, now that I've went through some of them, I see exactly what he means, because I only take the maximum is 10 students per session. But even just being 10 students, because I'm trying to help each and every one, devote as much as I can one-on-one time with them.
Right.
That it is very draining, you know what I'm saying, personally, because they're calling on me a lot. They need my attention. They need me to help them with this or show them this, or sometimes it's even personal issues they'll bring me, you know what I'm saying? And it's just a lot, you know what I'm saying? It may be TMI, but just being real, because it's so many people and it's so many females in one room.
Right.
We all on our cycle together. It's a lot. And it messes my cycle every time, like a new session started. I'm like, oh Lord, I got to go back through this, Lord Jesus, with my cycle, but horrible. Everything is all over the place because I'm dealing with so many different personalities all at one time.
Right.
So you have to keep that into account. Anytime you decide to do anything. So with that being said, I try to now look at something as if, okay, so if I decide to add this onto my schedule or my business or whatever the case may be, if I add that on to it, how much is that going to take away from my own personal life or whatever I have going on currently? So I have to kind of just take it into account. And I'm like, okay, so it's going to take away this. Is that like worth it? You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense for me to do that? You know what I'm saying? Just like now people ask me all the time, they're like, oh my gosh, why don't you take new clients? Because my schedule is already really crazy, even though it may be a little freer right now, right? During the summer, because I don't have it. But if I tack on all these new clients, guess what? You're going to want to stay on when my winter session starts, and I'm not going to have the time. And I really be overwhelmed and stressed out. And I have to be, mindful of that. So I do feel like a balance in anything in life. Balance is great. You know what I'm saying? You have to make sure that you try to do that with work life as much as possible. It's always going to be something you're going to be dealing with, especially when you have your own business, because you want it to grow and you want to do this, and it's constant go, 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 go energy. But at some point you have to kind of pull yourself back as much as possible, utilize other people, you know what I'm saying? Hire out. You can't do everything, just like any other business. They don't have, not the CEO isn't the CFO, isn't the COO, isn't the president. Like there's people that are delegated for those specific jobs. That one person is in all of those jobs, right? So that's the main thing you have to, and I'm learning that literally now, literally this year was when I was like, oh, I need to hire more. I need to, I'm about to start a board because I need to have, board members that help me make sure that the school is structured properly and things are running more smoothly. And it's not only just on me and my husband and, other people, like it's constantly, people that I need to add, things like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, last but not least, where can people find you on social media and how can people support, what you do?
So I am at MJ Nailz. So it's MJ Nailz. I do have MJ Nailz Academy as well. I don't post on there as often as I should, to be honest with you, just because I just don't have really the time, but I do have it. So if you do, try to reach me on there at some point, I will reach back out. I do have my website, mjnailzacademy.com. If you're interested in the program, there is register information on there as well, information about the course, the details and what you'll be learning. And then if you do fill out the registration, I will get back with you at some point to go over actually enrolling for the program and go through the process and all of that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So those are the two. I do have TikTok too. Again, I don't use it that much. But it's MJ Nailz. I try my best. That's another thing with social media platforms. I don't know about anybody else, but it's hard.
Yes.
There's so many different platforms. People are like, you need to get this, you need to get this. How that sounds amazing, but it takes time and not a lot of time in the days. I mean, I only have so many hours. So yeah, I'm going to be adding soon a YouTube because I am going to be doing some online courses here coming this summer. You know what I'm saying? People are asking about continuing education classes. So I am going to be offering, but again, it's not in order for, you cannot be licensed through it, but it is a continuing education class. So you can take it whether or not you are licensed, unlicensed, but it's going to teach you like shaping foundation, how nail art, things like that on there. Yeah, it'll be linked up through my website, but it'll be through a different platform, and I'll upload some YouTube stuff to let people know, things like that. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, MJ, for jumping onto the show. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your story. It's been great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much. I appreciate it.
You're most welcome. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. Be sure to click the bell for notifications. Also, follow me on my social media platforms and visit my website, ASIATHABIRD.com, and be on the lookout for more interviews to come very soon. Take care and stay beautiful.